Welcome to PLZ Soccer. Rangers Training Centre is our man. Of course, everybody hoping, and that certainly would be great news to get position in the Europa League, and of course the cash rewards that come to it. Somebody suggesting that maybe Rangers a little further of the tournament, but I don't think the Rangers manager Philippe Clement was having any of that chat.
I don't understand the red card. I think the VR also didn't. You need to be realistic and about this game. So if you see all these clubs in this competition and all the budgets also, we need to look game by game and go every game full. Even when teams have much better budgets, like it was with Manchester United or Tottenham, we always go full with our own force to play our own game and then to try to win games. But it's focused on one game in a time. It's not that we can say, okay, it's normal for Rangers to play finals. That's not reality. But of course, it's our ambition.
Maybe some journalists getting ahead of themselves there, Blair, talking about Rangers getting into a final. It's the old cliche, one game at a time, no doubt, for Philippe Clement.
Yes, Peter, I'm here at the Rangers Training Centre where Philippe Clement, as you've just heard there, just finished speaking to the media. I asked him about the realistic expectations of Rangers in this tournament this year, given their previous success in the tournament this year. He said they have to maintain realistic. Of course, we would love to be in the final, but maybe up against the budgets that we're up against in this tournament, that's maybe just a little bit too far ahead. USG, of course, they are locked in 11 points, the same as Rangers, and currently in that playoff group in the Europa League. Both sides harbouring ambitions, as it were, to make it potentially into that top 8, but both all but secure in that middle pack of the Europa League, which suggests tomorrow night at Ibrox, both teams will be going for it and just hoping for the best to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly Rangers at home and Rangers in Europe have produced some great results and helped Scotland's coefficient. And you wouldn't bet against Rangers being able to come out with a positive result at the end of 90 minutes, surely.
Of course, Peter, I think all the Rangers fans will be looking at this game as the final fixture in the league phase as a one that is a winnable tie, especially at Ibrox with those fans behind them. However, I wouldn't be taking USG too lightly if I was a Rangers supporter. They had a bit of a slow start to their own European campaign, but they've picked up 3 wins in a row, most notably against Nice and FC Twente, to really propel them up the table. They've also won 10 out of their last 13 games in all competitions. They're a side that Philippe Clement knows well from his time in Belgium. He says that they have 2 forwards up front who can cause a lot of problems to Rangers, as well as being very dogged in the midfield. So I don't think this one is a foregone conclusion, but Rangers will certainly go into it taking a lot of heart from the performance at Old Trafford last week, and of course their impressive win at Tannadice on Sunday.
What was the update from the manager, Blair, on the players available to him?
Yes, well, he was actually quite clever with this one. We asked him about who may be back for the game this week, and he says he doesn't want to give his Belgian friends any extra tools. So he was coy when he was asked about who may be coming back for this game. We have, however, seen John Souttar back in training this afternoon, so that's really the only new face to add, potentially coming in tomorrow night. One player potentially going out of Ibrox this week has been linked with a move away is Jeffy. He's been linked with English Premier League giants Chelsea, of all teams. However, when asked about that this afternoon, the manager said that the fullback isn't quite ready for that step up, but is sure that if he continues the way he's going currently, he'll definitely be able to play for a team like that in the future.
And as ever, you can tell us about one man who was put up to the press today, Jack Butland.
Yes, Jack Butland also came in to speak to the media this afternoon. This is the first time he's spoken since he sustained that injury that kept him out for that period over Christmas with Liam Kelly and then, of course, Mason Munn deputising. It was very interesting to just get a little bit of insight as to what that injury really consisted of. He said it was just a fairly normal dead leg, which really resulted in his words, the worst case scenario for an injury like that. However, he also did say that some of the the tweets and some of the posts on social media that say it were life-threatening, career-threatening, were a bit over the top, leading him to come out to say that it was actually none of that and he would just need to be off the park for a few weeks.
Of course, over and above that, listen, we looked at his performance against Manchester United. He made a few good saves, but as ever, Blair, when a keeper makes a mistake, we tend to round on him.
Yes, after that performance at Old Trafford, he was certainly a man under the spotlight. But speaking today, he said that he looked back on that performance and he said that he didn't put too much of a foot wrong, but understands that goalkeepers are always under the spotlight.
Listen, you're always going to get that. The life of a keeper is a very unforgiving one. You know, I came away from that game at Old Trafford, one of those where you look back on it, you just think you didn't really put much of a foot wrong. You make a lot of saves. I look back on all of it. You know, like from a set play perspective, they're a handful. Caused us all problems that we dealt with pretty well, all in all. Like I say, you make your saves. You look back on the distribution, the passes I made, and the decisions I made. Positions I took up, but the life of a keeper, it takes one moment and you're the villain sort of immediately. And the biggest thing from those games is to look back at it, take from it the facts, take from the realities, and for large parts, if not the majority of it, didn't put a foot wrong. So.
Yeah, Jack Butland obviously highlighting that one mistake. The game didn't quite go according to plan. United sneaking it at the end. But I think Rangers come out of that, Blair, with a lot of credibility and a lot of plaudits for the way they went about their business. They've also got Cyril Dessers in goal-scoring form again. Do you get the sense from the manager and Jack Butland as well that there's an air of optimism that they can get the job done?
Well, I think the overwhelming feeling that I get from both the manager and the player coming out of this one is that they feel a little bit hard done by after Old Trafford. Jack Butland used the words himself, we deserved more. And I think that'll be the overwhelming emotion in the Rangers changing room going into this one, this crucial tie against USG, where all the players will know they'll have to get a positive result, not only to secure their playoff place, but also potentially make it into that top 8.
Well, thanks to Blair out there at the Rangers Training Centre. We'll have our reporters out there at Ibrox bringing you all the pre-match build-up, the half-time and the full-time from Rangers against USG. Can they get that all-important 3 points? After the disappointment of Old Trafford, this is the perfect chance for the home support to roar Rangers on to victory. We'll keep you right up to date across our social media. Today, right across all our platforms, you'll hear more from Blair and, of course, from the Rangers manager Philippe Clement and the goalkeeper Jack Butland as well. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the breaking news, why not download the app and hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Thanks to Blair.